The Central Criminal Court of England and Wales, commonly referred to as the Old Bailey after the street on which it stands, is a criminal court building in central London, one of several that house the Crown Court of England and Wales. The street outside follows the route of the ancient wall around the City of London, which was part of the fortifications Bailey, hence the metonymic name. The Old Bailey has been housed in a succession of court buildings on the street since the 16th century, when it was attached to the medieval Newgate Jail. The current main building block was completed in 1902. Designed by Edward William Mountford, its architecture is recognized and protected as a Grade II * listed building. An extension south block was constructed in 1972, over the former site of Newgate Jail, which was demolished in 1904. The Crown Court sitting in the Old Bailey hears major criminal cases from within Greater London. In exceptional cases, trials may be referred to the Old Bailey from other parts of England and Wales. As with most courts in England and Wales, trials at the Old Bailey are open to the public. However, they are subject to stringent security procedures. The court originated as the Sessions House of the Lord Mayor and Sheriffs of the City of London and of Middlesex. In addition to Sessions Court, the Old Bailey also held trials, similar to the travelling courts of assize held in other parts of England and Wales. The original medieval court was first mentioned in 1585. It was next to the older Newgate prison, and seems to have grown out of the endowment to improve the jail and rooms for the sheriffs, made possible by a gift from Richard Whittington. It was destroyed in the Great Fire of London in 1666 and rebuilt in 1674, with the court open to the weather to prevent the spread of disease. In 1734, it was refronted, enclosing the court and reducing the influence of spectators. This led to outbreaks of typhus, notably in 1750 when 60 people died, including the Lord Mayor and 2 judges. It was rebuilt again in 1774 and a second courtroom was added in 1824. Over 100,000 criminal trials were carried out at the Old Bailey between 1674 and 1834. In 1834, it was renamed as the Central Criminal Court and its jurisdiction extended beyond that of London and Middlesex to the whole of the English jurisdiction for trials of major cases. Her Majesty's Courts and Tribunals Service manages the courts and administers the trials, but the building itself is owned by the City of London Corporation, which finances the building, the running of it, the staff and the maintenance out of their own resources. The court was envisaged as that where only criminals accused of crimes committed in the City and Middlesex were tried. However, in 1856, there was public revulsion at complaints sent to police against Dr. William Palmer that he was a poisoner and murderer. This led to fears that he could not receive a fair trial in his native Staffordshire. The Central Criminal Court Act 1856 was passed to enable his trial, and others with a public profile, to be held at the Old Bailey. The Old Bailey adjoined Newgate Prison until the jail's 1902 closure. Hangings were a public spectacle in the street outside until May 1868. The condemned would be led along Dead Man's Walk between the buildings, and many were buried in the walk itself. Large, rowdy crowds sometimes gathered and pelted the condemned with rotten fruit and vegetables and stones. After 28 people were crushed to death when a pie seller's stall overturned. A secret tunnel was made between the prison and St. Sepulchre's Church opposite the crossroads, to allow the chaplain to minister to the condemned without having to force his way through crowds. The present building dates from 1902 and was officially opened by King Edward VII on the 27th of February, 1907. It was designed by A. W. Mountford and co-occupies the site of the demolished prison. Above the main entrance is inscribed the admonition, "Defend the children of the poor and punish the wrongdoer." On the dome above the court stands the court's symbolic gilt bronze statue of Lady Justice by sculptor F. W. Pomeroy. She holds a sword in her right hand and the scales of justice in her left. The statue is popularly supposed to show blind justice, but the figure is not blindfolded. The courthouse brochures explain that this is because Lady Justice was originally not blindfolded. and because her maidenly form is supposed to guarantee her impartiality, which renders the blindfold redundant. During the Blitz of World War II, the Old Bailey was bombed and severely damaged, but reconstruction work restored most of it in the early 1950s. In 1952, the restored interior of the Grand Great Hall of the Central Criminal Court was once again open. This hall is decorated with paintings commemorating the Blitz, as well as quasi-historical scenes of St. Paul's Cathedral with nobles outside. Running around the entire hall are a series of acts.